Have you ever wanted to know what goes on behind the giant, golden gates of a massive house by the ocean? Imagine a place so big that you could fit 10 football fields inside it, all sitting on a cliff where you can watch the blue waves of the Pacific Ocean crash against the rocks. This is the home of a very famous actor named Kevin Costner. For a long time, he has been one of the most important people in Hollywood. But lately, his house has become the center of a very big mystery involving a real-life prince and a duchess. People are whispering that something has gone wrong. They are saying that the friendship between the actor and the royal couple is starting to break apart. In the world of famous people, being invited to a party at a house like this is like winning a gold medal. It shows everyone that you are part of the most special club. But what happens when that invitation is taken away? What happens when the gates stay closed? We are going to look into why the rules are changing and why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle might be finding themselves on the outside of a circle they worked so hard to join. This is a story about fame, secrets, and a cowboy who decided to draw a line in the sand. Kevin Costner is a man who plays a lot of brave characters in movies, but in real life, he is also very strong and makes his own choices. Recently, he said something that surprised a lot of people. He told everyone that Meghan Markle is not invited to his next big party in Santa Barbara. He also wanted to make sure people knew that he was not involved in any bad business with a man named Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Epstein was someone who did very wrong things a long time ago. Kevin said that Prince Andrew and Meghan were the ones who knew about that, not him. He even mentioned that Meghan tried to talk to him in a way that was a bit too pushy, and he chose not to answer her. This happened at a quiet place on the coast of California where very rich people live. Behind the big gates of his house, things started to feel very different for the royal couple. Kevin's decision was quiet and he didn't make a big scene, but it still hurt Meghan's plan to be a big star in America. Within just a few hours, everyone started talking and feeling nervous. Prince Harry looked very upset. People are asking if Kevin was right to do this or if there is a bigger secret we don't know yet. You can tell us what you think in the comments and subscribe to our channel to learn more about stories like this one. When someone as famous as Kevin Costner decides to stop talking to someone, it is a very big deal. He did not go on the news to shout about it. He did not write a long letter for everyone to read. Instead, he just stayed quiet and made a choice. It was a silent statement that carried a lot of power. Kevin is a man who likes to do things his own way, and he doesn't care if people pressure him. He made it clear that he did not want to be part of Meghan and Harry's world anymore. This choice might seem small at first, but it is actually very important when you look at what has been happening with the prince and the duchess. After they left their life in England as royals, they moved to California. They had a very big goal. They wanted to be powerful and famous in Hollywood. They wanted everyone to respect them and invite them to the best parties. They worked very hard to make sure they looked like they were doing great. They went to the right places and talked to the right people. For a while, it seemed like it was working perfectly. Meghan seemed to know exactly what she was doing. Prince Harry was trying to build a new life where he could help the world. Together, they were a mix of a royal family and a Hollywood movie star. But then, Kevin Costner decided to step back. He didn't say why, but his distance made everyone stop and wonder. Kevin is known for being independent. He has worked in movies for a very long time, and he doesn't follow what everyone else is doing. He puts his own money into his movies and takes big risks. When he makes a move, it is usually because he has thought about it for a long time. This time, he didn't fight or argue. He just wasn't there anymore. This set a boundary, which is like an invisible fence that says you cannot come in. When someone like Kevin sets a fence, people listen. It shows that he has made a judgment. In Hollywood, how people see you is everything. For Harry, this was hard to ignore. For Meghan, it happened at a very bad time. The path to the inner circle of Hollywood was now blocked by a big problem that wasn't loud, but was very heavy. Kevin Costner has a giant piece of land in a place called Carpinteria. It is right by the ocean, and he has owned it since 1988. Every year, he has a very special event there called 1805 Live. This is a party that helps raise money for people like firefighters and police officers who help during emergencies. It started after a very sad time in 2018 when there were big mudslides in Santa Barbara that hurt many people. Over time, this party became a way to show who belongs in the community. If you were invited, it meant people trusted you. The land is over 10 acres big and looks out over the beautiful blue water. Kevin doesn't just let anyone come to his house. He picks everyone carefully. In the year 2023, Meghan Markle stood on a stage at this party. She gave Kevin an award to say thank you for helping the community. At that time, it looked like she and Harry were finally part of the team. Everyone was smiling and the feeling was very warm. It seemed like they had successfully moved from being royals to being big Hollywood stars. But then, 1 year later, in September of 2024, things changed. The party happened again, but Prince Harry came all by himself. Meghan was not there. People said she was sick, but in a world where being there is very important, her not being there made people curious. The people at the party felt a difference. There was a distance that was hard to explain. It wasn't a big fight, but it felt like the warm feeling from the year before was gone. Nothing was said out loud, but the difference between 2023 and 2024 was very easy to see. 1 year they were in, and the next year it felt like they were being pushed away. In a place where you have to be chosen to be there, not being there means everything is changing. A rumor is like a little whisper that travels from person to person until everyone has heard it. Usually, rumors go away quickly, but this one stayed. People started saying that Kevin Costner had said something about not wanting Meghan Markle at his house anymore. They said she might not be welcome at any more of his parties. There was no video or proof of him saying this, but people still believed it might be true. This is because Kevin is not a person who says things just to be mean. He is a serious man who makes smart choices. He even spent millions of dollars of his own money to make a movie called Horizon because he believed in the story. This shows that he doesn't do what other people tell him to do. He follows his own heart. So if he decided to move away from Meghan and Harry, people thought he must have a good reason. He doesn't try to please the big movie companies or the crowds. He just does what he thinks is right. Because he has such a good reputation, people took the rumor very seriously. In Hollywood, your reputation is like your shadow. It follows you everywhere. If the rumor was true, it meant that a very respected man had decided that the royal couple was not the kind of people he wanted to be around. Even without proof, the idea of this distance started to grow. It wasn't just about the words anymore. It was about the feeling that things were shifting. Meghan and Harry had worked hard to show everyone that they were important, but Kevin's choice made it look like their influence was fading. Kevin Costner is like a captain of his own ship. He has spent decades building his career, and he doesn't need anyone's permission to do what he wants. He is not like many other people in Hollywood who always want to be liked. Kevin is okay with standing alone. He has shown this many times by making movies that other people thought were too risky. He even used his own house to help pay for his projects. This shows that he trusts himself more than anyone else. Because he is so independent, his choices carry a lot of weight. When he decides to step away from someone, people pay attention. This is a big contrast to how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been living. They have tried very hard to be seen and to make sure everyone is talking about them. They want to be part of the big system of fame. Kevin is the opposite. He has already stepped outside of that system. This shows a big difference in how they think. One side wants to be connected to everything, and the other side wants to be free to do what they want. This difference in philosophy is why the distance between them is so interesting. It is not just about a party. It is about how they live their lives. People started to look past the surface and wonder what really happened between them. They started to see the signs that things were not as perfect as they seemed. Sometimes, stories about famous people get mixed up with very serious and scary things. People started talking about Meghan Markle and a man named Jeffrey Epstein. This was very bad because Mr. Epstein was a person who was in a lot of trouble for doing very mean things. The royal family already had a big problem with him because Prince Harry's uncle, Prince Andrew, was his friend. Prince Andrew had to stop being a working royal because of this. So when people started saying Meghan's name and Mr. Epstein's name together, it was very scary for her. But when the truth came out, it was different from the rumors. In 2025, some secret emails were shared by the government. Meghan's name was only in there one time. It wasn't because she met him or was his friend. It was just an email from 2020 where someone talked about a news story. Prince Harry had said something about his uncle Andrew, and that was why the email mentioned them. There was no proof that Meghan did anything wrong. There was also a picture of a woman on a boat that people said was Meghan with bad people. But in 2026, people who check facts found out that the woman was just a person who writes a blog. It wasn't Meghan at all. Even though these things were not true, the rumors still hurt her. This is because once a bad name is connected to you, it is hard to make people forget. This is another reason why Kevin Costner might have wanted to stay away. He didn't want any of that bad talk near his house or his family. Meghan and Harry's dream of being big stars in Hollywood was also having some money problems. In 2020, they made a very big deal with a company called Netflix. It was supposed to be worth $100 million. That is a lot of money. At first, it went very well. They made a show about their lives that millions of people watched. But after that, things got harder. They made a show about a sport called polo, but not many people watched it. Then Meghan made a show about her life, but that didn't do very well either. People started to criticize her shows and say they were not very good. They also had a deal with a company called Spotify to make podcasts, but that deal ended in 2023. A big boss at Spotify even said some mean things about them. In 2026, news came out that Netflix was not going to work with them as much anymore. They weren't going to be the only ones making shows for the company. This was a big step backward. It showed that the momentum, or the speed of their success, was slowing down. People in Hollywood started to wonder if Meghan was really a good creator of shows. They also heard that many of her workers were quitting. All of these problems were happening at the same time Kevin Costner was moving away. It seemed like everything was breaking at once. While Meghan was having a hard time in Hollywood, Prince Harry started to do things differently. He began to go to events all by himself. In late 2024 and 2025, people noticed that he was often alone. This was a big change because they used to do everything together. In February of 2025, Harry went to Canada for the Invictus Games. This is a big sports competition he started for soldiers who were hurt in wars. It is a very good thing that helps many people. Over 500 people from many countries came to compete. Harry was the leader of the whole thing and gave a very good speech. People liked seeing him do this because it was something he was very good at. A few months later, he went to Africa. He went to a place called Angola, which is a place his mother, Princess Diana, went a long time ago. She worked very hard to stop landmines, which are hidden bombs in the ground. Harry walked through the same area to show that it was now safe and that people could live there again. He talked to children and helped destroy some old bombs. These trips were about helping people, not about being a movie star. People noticed that Harry looked much happier and more comfortable when he was doing this kind of work. It was a big contrast to the fancy and stressful world of Hollywood. It looked like he was finding his old self again, the one who cared about service and his mother's legacy. While Harry and Meghan were figuring out their life in California, the royal family in England was going through a very sad time. In early 2024, King Charles was told he had a very serious sickness called cancer. This was very scary for everyone. He had to stop working for a while to get medicine and rest. Then, Princess Catherine, who is Harry's brother's wife, also said she was sick with cancer. She had to stay home for a long time to get better. With the king and the princess both sick, there weren't many people left to do the royal work. This made the whole family feel very fragile and worried. During this time, another big problem happened with Prince Andrew. He was told he could no longer have his royal titles or do any royal work. Then, in 2026, he was even arrested by the police. They thought he might have shared secret information he wasn't supposed to share. This was a huge story because it hadn't happened to a senior royal in hundreds of years. All of this trouble in England made things harder for Harry and Meghan too. Even though they were far away, people still connected them to the family. Every time something bad happened in England, it made the royal couple in California look more complicated. The distance between their two worlds was getting messy. Finally, in September of 2025, something happened that everyone was watching for. Harry and Meghan went to a party together again. It was the same 1805 live party at Kevin Costner's house. This was the first time they were seen together in over 5 months. On the outside, everything looked fine. They were smiling and Harry gave an award on the stage. He even talked about a big fund of $10 million to help with mental health for firefighters. There were many famous people there, and the pictures made it look like everything was back to normal. It looked like they were friends with Kevin again and that they were still part of the Hollywood club. But beneath the surface, the world was still different. Their business deals were still smaller than before, and people were still being critical. Meghan's lifestyle brand was now independent and not part of Netflix anymore. Even though they were back at the party, the trust that had been there before was not the same. People knew that things had been hard. The earlier stories about Kevin Costner hadn't gone away, and his name was now forever linked to the mystery of their friendship. In a world where how people see you is the most important thing, even a small change can last a long time. Kevin Costner's reputation for being careful and independent made people look at Harry and Meghan in a new way. They weren't just the perfect royal couple anymore. They were people who had to work hard to stay in the circle. So what do you think about all of this? Do you think Kevin Costner was just following his gut when he stepped back? Or did he see something about Harry and Meghan that they were trying to hide? Hollywood is a very strange place where being popular is like a game that is always changing. It seems like the cowboy actor decided he didn't want to play that game with the prince and the duchess anymore. Maybe he wanted to go back to his quiet life and focus on his own movies without all the royal drama. Or maybe he wanted to protect the helpers and heroes he supports at his party. Whatever the reason, his choice made a big impact that is still being felt today. Harry and Meghan are still trying to find their place, and Harry seems to be finding it by helping others on his own. It is a story that shows that even if you are a prince or a duchess, you still have to earn your place and keep the trust of your friends. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear if you think they can ever truly be part of the Hollywood inner circle again. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the lives of the rich and famous. We have plenty more stories to tell you.